You can let her filibuster all day long, but not on our watch.
Be clear.
Not on our time. No way.
Be clear.
And I told you about that, Attorney General, before you started.
You don't tell me.
Yeah, I did tell you because we saw what you did in the Senate.
Lawyer, not even a lawyer.
Committee will be in order.
That was the sitting Attorney General of the United States melting down over a question. If the Justice Department has nothing to hide over Jeffrey Epstein, why did this hearing turn into a shouting match? Members of Congress accused the Attorney General, Pam Bondi, of ignoring victims, dodging questions relating to Epstein, and potentially misleading Congress. And when survivors were asked if the DOJ had ever met with him, not a single hand went up. Today, we're breaking down moments from Pam Bondi's testimony that everyone is talking about and what it means for future Epstein transparency. Pam Bondi testified before the House Judiciary Committee this week in an official hearing about Department of Justice oversight. But the focus quickly changed to that of Jeffrey Epstein. Representative Jamie Raskin from Maryland opened with a blistering statement accusing the Department of Justice of contributing to what he said is a pattern of secrecy around Epstein. Mediaite called this a scorching opening, and you can read the full breakdown in their link. But we're going to watch just a quick segment of Raskin going off on Pam Bondi.
The claims of these survivors are worth, as the good congressman from Kentucky just pointed out, there were lots of survivors who had decided, for reasons of their own, never to release their names. That determination was represented to people in Congress, and we built it into our federal law that their names could not be released, and yet you published their names, their phone numbers, their addresses, personally identifying information. If Donald Trump can get $10 billion theoretically from the Department of Justice, how much should these people get for a far worse violation of their privacy rights and a far greater danger established to them in their lives?
Do you even know who Chase Mulligan is? You're so obsessed with, you don't, do you?
I'm going to teach you the rules again. You're the Attorney General of the United States.
You're
We have rules
obsessed
here.
with him.
You're the Attorney General of the United States.
You're
And the rules,
obsessed with Donald Trump. You
No.
have Trump derangement syndrome.
Mr. Chairman, I'd like my time
Mulligan will
restored.
be
Trump
sitting
derangement
with you
syndrome?
in your district. In your district,
stop
and you
the
don't
clock.
even know about it, about
I'm-
keeping children
Time belongs
safe
to
from
the
online
gentleman.
predators.
Time belongs to the gentleman from Maryland. Gentleman can proceed.
Yeah, and I want the whole country to look at this, because this is the Attorney General of the United States, whose job is law enforcement. We've never had a witness who has misunderstood our rules and been unable to conform his or her conduct to our rules before. So, Ms. Bondi, the way it works is we ask you a question and you answer it. And if you go off on a wild goose chase, another tangent, you start reading statistics or you start talking about stuff going on in our district. And by the way, I invite you to my district. Come to my district, but that's not what we're here to do today. Okay? So, and you do that, then we're allowed to say we reclaim our time. At that point, you have to be quiet. You have no choice. You have to be quiet. So I hope you understand the rule of this board. Now, here's what I want to ask you. You're in law enforcement. We've seen all kinds of evidence of crimes. And when we go over to the Department of Justice for the 4 computers for every member of Congress, we see more evidence of crimes. Will you create a joint task force of the Department of Justice and governors and state attorney generals and district attorneys across the country to investigate the crimes that have taken place against these victims and more than 1,000 like them? The DOJ is not doing its job. Will you create a task force with state and local law enforcement to make that happen?
Gentleman can respond if she wants to.
Thank you, Chairman. He called Chase Mulligan a wild goose
Oh
chase
my
and didn't even know
God. She
who
can't
he was.
answer a single
He is
question.
a defendant in your
Mr.
own
Chairman,
district who
Mr.
preyed
Chairman.
on girls.
Mr.
ages
Chairman.
15
Well,
to
you know what? If he
17
were part of the
in
Epstein
social
investigation, you wouldn't
media
do anything
and
about it.
online chat rooms and committed sextortion. Yet he didn't even
The
know in your
time.
tiny little district who he
Mr. Chairman,
was.
she's embarrassing
Time.
He's
you.
about to be
This is
sued.
your
Time.
committee, and she is embarrassing
Shame
Time.
you.
on you.
Jeez, it is so wild to watch what's supposed to be the most powerful legal expert in the entire country who doesn't understand proper conduct when it comes to cross investigation or or asking questions in front of a judicial committee. It's sad to see. She can't answer a single question. It's either she is incapable of doing so or she doesn't want to actually talk about the substance of why she's there. So she's picking and choosing stories that she wants to tangentially derail the conversation. It's sad to see. Then came the moment that many are saying is defining the hearing. Representative Dan Goldman asked survivors of Epstein two big questions. The first one, have you met with the Department of Justice? And the second was, how many of you feel ignored? Let's watch exactly what they said.
There are 32 names. One is redacted. 31 are not. So someone looked at it and decided to redact something. And I will tell you that that is clearly intentional to intimidate these survivors and victims. Now, in an interview last week,
How will you tell me that's intentional?
in an interview last week, Deputy Attorney General Todd
You
Blanche
can't go off script.
said that any victim that wants to speak with the department has done so, hopefully. Well, thanks to the incredibly brave people sitting here behind you, we can actually ask them if that's true. Now, would the survivors and victims who are here please stand up one more time? Just by show of hands, how many of you or your loved ones actually have met with the Department of Justice and provided testimony and estimate and evidence? None.
Not a single one.
And of those of you who have not met, which is everyone, how many of you have reached out either individually or through a lawyer or representative to offer to provide testimony and evidence?
Jeez,
All of them. And of those all of you who have reached out, how many of you were denied or ignored by the Department of Justice?
Wow.
All of them. And despite the shameful and despicable efforts by Ms. Bondi and her department to intimidate you, how many of you are still willing to speak to the Department of Justice? All of them. Well, Ms. Bondi, it looks like you have some more witnesses to
Gentleman's time has
talk to,
expired.
and I yield back.
We will go to the good gentleman from North Carolina, Congressman Knott. Thank
May
you.
I have a moment, Congressman?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
Oh, she has the script.
Here we go. Here's the photograph. This is why he wanted to repeat everything that had been said previously on Epstein. This is his state, New York. You probably don't even know who this is. Wahid Mohammed from Afghanistan.
Yes, because I'm no longer a prosecutor.
Convicted of assault. Wow, he represents New York. Wow, yet he doesn't care about the illegal aliens convicted of crimes. Assault and
So this is a common tactic of the Trump administration for so many different people in the cabinet. It always comes down to deflect, deflect, deflect. I'm being scrutinized right now for worthy crimes. I'm being scrutinized for not fulfilling my duty as a person in the federal government who oversees justice, who oversees representing witnesses in these large-scale national crimes. If I am actually being scrutinized, let me just deflect real quick. Let me talk about something that's completely off topic to try to get my supporters who are listening to this to remember, oh yeah, we don't like immigrants. Let me not forget that. This is disgusting on every measure. You just had a room full of victims of a terrible, awful crime who don't feel represented by your Department of Justice, and you can't even look at them in the eye. You have to talk about undocumented people and try to deter the conversation. It is so telling. Somehow, things got even more explosive after that. Representative Ted Lieu asked whether underage girls were present at events that were attended by Donald Trump and Jeffrey Epstein. Bondi responded by saying there's no evidence Trump committed a crime. Let's watch how Ted Lieu responded to that.
Former Prince Andrew, Donald Trump attended various parties with Jeffrey Epstein. I want to know, were there any underage girls at that party or at any party that Trump attended with Jeffrey Epstein?
this is so ridiculous, and that they are trying to deflect from all the great things Donald Trump has done. There
Oh
is
my
no
God.
evidence that Donald Trump has committed a crime. Everyone knows that. This has been the most transparent presidency. He's the one that asked that those
I'm
files
reclaiming my time.
be
I got your
released.
answer. You said there's no
President
evidence.
Trump asked
Chairman,
the
please stop the
judge
clock.
to
My time. Stop
sign
the clock.
the legislation.
Time.
This is
Time.
this
I'd like
is
to take my
ridiculous.
time.
Time belongs to the gentleman from
I'm-
California.
Okay. I'm going to put up another document from a witness who called the FBI's National Threat Operations Center. because I believe you just lied under oath. There is ample evidence in the Epstein file.
Don't you ever accuse me of a
I
crime.
believe you just lied under oath, and this is all on videotape. You said there's no evidence of crime. I'm showing you, here is a witness statement who called into the FBI's Threat Operations Center. He drove Donald Trump around in a limo. He overheard what Donald Trump said to Jeffrey on his cell phone. He was so angry, he was gonna stop the limo and hurt Donald Trump. And he met a girl who said she was raped by Donald Trump and Jeffrey Epstein. She later had her head blown off, and officers at the scene said that could not have been suicide. No one at the Department of Justice interviewed this witness. You need to interview this witness immediately. Epstein should rot in hell, so should the men who patronized his operation. And as we sit here today, there are over 1,000 sex trafficking victims, and you have not held a single man accountable. Shame on you. If you had
Time
any
of the
decency,
gentleman.
you would resign right after this
The
hearing
time of the
concludes.
gentleman has expired.
Oh my God. I mean, it's so telling when she is flailing, like in even answering that question. He said, has Donald Trump ever been at an event with underage girls? And she spends like 15 seconds pausing, knowing that Donald Trump is watching this. And her sole job as the head of the Department of Justice is protecting Donald Trump. She's not there to actually deliver justice to the American people. She's not trying to make Epstein's crimes more transparent. She is there to protect Donald Trump and make sure that he is not held accountable for any crimes, which is why she doubles down on that line. Donald Trump has done nothing wrong. He's done nothing wrong. He's done nothing wrong. The question was whether he's been to events with underage girls, which very clearly we have receipts for, as Ted Lieu just demonstrated. We know that that's true. You have to answer. You are the most powerful lawyer in the country. My mind is blown. I'm speechless to articulate how ridiculous it is that she is in this position of power. But the pressure on Pam Bondi didn't just come from congressional Democrats. Republican Representative Thomas Massey said that Pam Bondi potentially could face a contempt of Congress charge if she continues to dodge these questions on Epstein. That is significant. This is a bipartisan effort to pressure the Department of Justice to actually release the truth to the American people. Watch him speak to CNN in this clip.
So you're going in there. You're saying that you see documents. Last night you said you saw names that shouldn't be redacted that were redacted. Today you're seeing documents that are just redacted when you should be viewing totally unredacted documents behind closed doors in this private room, and that you're also seeing, or you're not seeing documents that should be in there that aren't in there. I mean, do you trust the Justice Department at this point right now, based on what you can see behind the scenes?
Well, if they'll admit that they're making mistakes and that their document production is not done, I could trust them. But I can't trust them if they say, as Todd Blanche did in his press conference, that this is it, there's no more, it's over. That can't be true. And so tomorrow, we're going to have Pam Bondi in the Judiciary Committee. So I'll have 5 minutes to ask her these questions.
And do you think you'll get these answers?
I hope I do.
And what happens if you don't?
That's not a clear answer.
It's hard to refer contempt or things like that on an attorney general to the attorney general. This is the problem that you run into. And so it's going to be very difficult, but we can compel other people to come testify like the Oversight Committee is doing. I'm no longer on the Oversight Committee, I'm on the Judiciary Committee, but the Oversight Committee can compel some of these people that are named in these files to come and testify.
Yeah. Have you heard from the Justice Department directly, or is it just the tweets at you that you've heard from them on, where they're posting at you?
There is communication between my staff and Justice Department staff, but I haven't heard, for instance, from Todd Blanche directly.
I think what Thomas Massey didn't say is more telling than what he did. He couldn't answer clearly if Pam Bondi could face a potential charge. He couldn't say whether she's actually going to answer questions in the future. A lot of his messaging is around, I hope things change. I hope the Trump administration realizes that this is destroying credibility even amongst their own base, and that they change course in order to bring about more transparency to the American people. But that hope is pretty fickle. Let's be honest. We know that Trump is the master of deflection, not answering any accountability questions, completely denying his involvement with these types of crimes, because Donald Trump will not be guilty in his own eyes. He can't even admit that he lost an election. let alone that he is covering up powerful people in a sex scandal operation with one of the worst criminals that we've seen in modern American history. This hearing fits into a larger pattern around Epstein: massive document releases that are difficult to navigate, limited prosecutions, ongoing questions about powerful associates, and reported demands from survivors for full transparency. Meanwhile, public trust continues to erode because when survivors say that they've been ignored, when Congress continues to talk about potential contempt of Congress charges, and when hearings turn into shouting matches where the attorney general looks like someone in a reality TV show, people are going to start asking bigger questions. The Epstein case isn't going to go away. Survivors are still demanding answers. Lawmakers are pushing for more documents that are unredacted. And now the attorney general herself is under scrutiny. Make sure that you're subscribed to Courier, who's covering all of this and following the evidence, not just the spin, because the story is still unfolding.